We're back for our daily NBA best bets here on Saturday, November 22nd. Yesterday, what a weird day in the NBA. I mean, I'm gonna hold my thoughts. Other than the Bulls, great, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, what the hell was that? It is what it is. That's the National Basketball Association sometimes, folks. It is what it is. Folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA best bets here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our college basketball best bets, so go make sure to check that out. Linked in the description down below. Also on the channel, college football. Again, today's a college football Saturday, so college football best bets and predictions are on the channel, along with our NFL predictions, best bets later today at noon and 5 p.m. Pacific. Also on Greedo Plays MMA, this card's on right now. Actually, it's starting right now at 7 o'clock. UFC Fight Night, Sarukian versus Hooker from Doha, Qatar. Make sure to go check out that video on Greedo Plays MMA and go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA if you have not yet. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets today for this NBA Saturday. Not much to work with. We only have, 7 games, I believe, and one of them is whatever this cluster is. Oh my god. I'm taking the Charlotte Hornets to beat the Los Angeles Clippers. Yeah, I am. That is how down we are and how anti-Clippers I am right now. I actually, and I'm not, it's not a joke. I'm not just doing it because I don't like the Clippers. I'm not doing it just because I just want to pile it on the Clippers and I want to laugh at them. No, I actually think the Hornets beat them this morning. This game's at 10. It's at 1 o'clock East Coast time, obviously, in Charlotte. It's an earlier game for the Clippers. It really is. I think the Hornets get them. Now, these are 2 bad basketball teams, and obviously so much is being made, and now the media is really picking up on it, on the fact that the Clippers can kind of ruin basketball this season. Well, they already have, kinda, by giving their pick to, and giving all their picks to the Thunder. I don't want to call it ruining basketball, because I really enjoy watching SGA and the Thunder play. I mean, what a comeback last night, right? Down 25 points early, doesn't matter, they still win. If this team keeps losing in the Clippers, the Thunder are going to get top 3 pick in the draft. And obviously, we've said it before, there's 3 guys: DeBonsta, Peterson, Boozer. You get one of those 3 guys, that's your future right there. OKC doesn't really need a huge future. But again, if I'm going to go spin the lottery right now on Tankathon, and it actually only has the Thunder getting the 8th pick in the draft. But still, that's a good player in one of the more loaded drafts we've seen in a very long time. Regardless of all that, though, I think the Clippers losing ways continue tonight. I think they lose, or today, during the day. I think they lose to the Hornets. Guys, this team's won 4 games all year long. They've won most of their games at home. They've won 1 game on the road all season, and it was in Dallas in a double overtime game in the NBA Cup. Which, by the way, half of the Clippers' victories are NBA Cup games. I was looking at the NBA Cup standings because, I mean, after yesterday, I got to really get geared up for the Lakers probably winning Group B. I mean, 100% winning Group B. Thanks, NBA. You put us in a group with the Clippers, Grizzlies, Mavs, and Pels. Appreciate it. Thank you. Send Braun and Luka and Reeves to Vegas. But the other team that's 2-0 in Group B is the Clippers. Guys, if the Clippers find a way to beat the Lakers, which they're not going to, but if they find a way, they're going to go to the NBA Cup playoffs with over half their wins on the entire season being in the NBA Cup. Now, they're not going to beat the Lakers, obviously, in a couple weeks, in a week and a half. But that just shows how bad the Clippers are and just how random, they've been playing well in the Cup, which I don't know. Maybe this is one of the teams that actually do care. Actually, I think Harden definitely wants to go to Vegas, doesn't he? Actually, no. Harden's got a kid now. Harden's is he wifed up? I think. Anyways. Kawhi probably, though, just a New Balance hoodie in the club, throwing him out. Anyways, making it rain. Regardless, no, Kawhi he was doing singles. Anyways, I'm gonna be taking the Hornets today to beat the Clippers. I think Charlotte's 4-11, LA's 4-11. I think the Hornets at home is gonna be enough to win this game. And I understand the Hornets just lost to the Pacers. Okay, well, I mean the Pacers, some nights they're great. They played well for they played 2 really good quarters yesterday against the Cavaliers, did Indiana. They kind of fell apart in the second half, but the Pacers were relatively in that basketball game yesterday against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, they lost, going to 2-14 on the season. That's okay. AJ DeBonsta with Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam it's going to be cinema. I cannot wait. As for the Charlotte Hornets, though, I know they just lost to Indiana. I think the Hornets are a better team right now than the Clippers are. an injured and old Clippers team. I mean, these are literally exact opposites of each other. Now, a lot's being made currently of the LaMelo Ball situation. It was reported LaMelo has requested a trade out of Charlotte, or Ball would like to be moved as soon as possible away from this team. And then LaMelo goes out and says, actually, no, that's not the case. I'm going to try to pull up the exact tweet. But yeah, LaMelo completely shot down the claims that he wanted out. Time will only tell him that. I mean, at some point in time, I think LaMelo Ball is going to want out of what Charlotte is doing. I get it. They've been rebuilding and they have a young core, but at some point you got to, try to win and put some pieces around Melo. And obviously look at the way Concanuple's playing this season. I don't know. But here's the thing. This young team, again, these are two exact opposites. Charlotte's young as hell, and we've got the retirement home unction over in LA with the Clippers. They're so old. And it's rinse and repeat every night. It's the same thing. Harden's hooping. Everyone else, not really. You know what, though? I'm happy Chris Paul's actually getting minutes again. CP played 25 the other night. CP got 25 minutes against the Orlando Magic. That was great. Scored 4 points and 4 assists. You know what? CP3, man, he's still doing it. The point God. Yeah, Harden has no help on the court, man. It's absurd. Kobe Saunders is playing better. Rookie out of Nevada. He's playing well. Obviously with Kawhi out, but no, I can't with a straight face take the Los Angeles Clippers. I can't do it. I just can't. I'm gonna take Charlotte here. Yes, Harden's gonna probably drop 40, probably, but the Hornets have a young core of guys who can score. I mean, look at this entire starting lineup for Charlotte is young. I mean, everyone's younger than. All 5 of Charlotte's starters are younger than every single player in the Los Angeles rotation except for Sanders. I'm not joking. LaMelo Ball, Concanupole, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, and Ryan Kalkbrenner are all under 28. The oldest is Miles Bridges at 27. What's Melo now? 25? Only 24 still? Kalkbrenner's right out of college. Canupole out of college. Brandon Miller is 22, 23? 22. It's absurd. I'm going to take the younger team here. I can't bring myself to take the Clippers in 2025. So give me Charlotte at home. And we get plus money for Charlotte too. Sign me up. Plus 105 for the Hornets. Next up, we go on to another money line play. And yes, I'm doing it. I'm taking the New York Knicks. Oh, no. Yeah, what have I come to? I don't know. Taking New York here on the road. Okay, guys. This game matches up actually pretty well for the New York Knicks. I know. And I've been a very big anti-Knicks guy. I've never thought this team is all that good. I think they actually beat Orlando here. And I know, again, we saw this matchup just about a week and a half ago at the Garden, and the Magic won. The Magic go to New York and beat the Knicks 124 to 107. Major difference in this game, though, Paolo Banchero is not playing. And I know, again, the Magic have won games without Banchero. They've won back-to-back now at home against the Warriors and the Clippers. Obviously, the Warriors' victory, a lot more impressive than the Clippers win, but eliminating Banchero from this equation, I think, makes it a lot tougher for Orlando to win. And I know, again, they went out in the offseason, added a guy like Desmond Bane, and Jalen Suggs has been playing a lot better recently because of the absence of Banchero. And it's a Magic team as a whole that has had to play without Banchero for extended periods of time. Obviously, if you remember last year, both Banchero and Franz Wagner went out at the same time, obviously off by a couple weeks. Both those guys went out with the same exact injury. They both had torn obliques. And the Magic found ways, right? They stayed in it. They are obviously, hovering around the playoffs. They were the 7th seed. They all ended up being the 7th seed. But they still made the play-in, albeit it's not that hard to make the play-in in the Eastern Conference. Like, I'm not joking when I say the Pacers could still make the play-in in the Eastern Conference. That's how bad it's going to be. But actually, the West play-in's a lot worse. Utah at 5-10 right now is in the play-in. That's absurd. Regardless of all that, though, Orlando found a way to stay afloat last season without Banchero and Wagner, and right now it's just no Banchero. However, they're playing the New York Knicks, and I get it. I've been a very harsh critic of the Knicks, and they, only beat the Mavs by 2 points. Thought they were going to cover with Brunson back. We got the line at 4.5 before it was ruled that Brunson was actually coming back, and they still didn't cover. Boy, do I love New York Knicks basketball. But it's Brunson's second night back. Obviously still no OG Anunoby, but I think the Knicks get this one. I really think so. With no Banchero and the way, again, we've just talked about it all year long, the new style of Orlando Magic basketball, which in the past, again, it has been very opposite of what the rest of the league does of, oh, okay, what the Magic do, we just play defense. You're not going to score on us. We're going to limit you. We're going to, really guard the 3-point line. We're going to force you to play this low scoring game with us. Now the Magic have just, I guess, adapted to this new style of NBA basketball, and they just chuck up a million shots. And it's fine. It's working for them. It actually is. Like, Orlando is very involved in the Eastern Conference playoff picture right now. A very, an Eastern Conference playoff picture we've talked quite a bit about this season of teams that it's just, who's going to get out of it? I don't know. Detroit, Philly, Atlanta, Orlando, Chicago, Milwaukee. Who knows who gets out of the East this season? What I can tell you is obviously the OKC Thunder or the Nuggets or the Lakers or the Rockets are going to sweep whoever comes out of the East. And yes, in most likeliness, it will be the OKC Thunder. But in this particular game tonight, I do like the Knicks to go to Orlando and win. I think the Knicks get their get back from that original loss against Orlando a couple weeks ago. It's the one and only matchup that these two teams have played all year long. That was the game, by the way, where OG Anunoby, or that was the game before Anunoby went out or got injured, excuse me. But still, though, I like New York in this spot. I know they've not been as good of a road team as they've been at home this season, but we do get the opportunity to take Knicks at -120. I know they've screwed us all year long. They have. The team screwed us all season long. They are starting Landry Shamet in replacement of Anunoby. So, like, against the Mavericks, right, they went Brunson, Shamet, Bridges, Towns, Robinson. I don't know if I love it. I get it, right? Shamet, all he does in the starting lineup is shoot. But, you have two really small guys in the court at all times. I don't know. I guess Shamet feels like no way Shamet's 6'5". No shot. Shamet's, got to be 6'3". I don't know. I don't love them with starting Shamet and Brunson. Obviously, you need to start Brunson. I just don't love Shamet in there, too. But it is what it is. Another big factor of this game, though, is what Cat do we get, right? What Karl Anthony Towns is going to show up today. Because Cat at his best, I've said it, Cat at his best is great. But when Cat's not Cat and he can't hit a three-pointer, what the hell? And that's what he was against Dallas. 1 for 6 from the three-point line. 5 of 9 from the free throw line. 6 of 16 from the field. And the Knicks as a whole did not shoot well against Dallas, and they still found a way to win. Again, they were down early. It was just close throughout, really, but they were down early, came back, and obviously, won the basketball game on ESPN. It's just all a matter of that Knicks shooting. They will legitimately attempt anywhere from 35 to 50 three-pointers per game. You're going to see McBride shoot 10. You're going to see Brunson shoot 10. You're going to see, Bridges shoot 5, Cat shoot 5, Shamet shoot 5, Yabusele will shoot 5 and go 0 for 5 like he did against Dallas. Everyone's a shooter on the court. I think the Knicks will find a way to pull this one out here on the road. I'm taking New York Knicks money line in Orlando. Give me the Knicks at -120 to get this one done. On to our third best bet of the video. Let's go to our first player prop of the day. Let's move to Coby White. Playing obviously for the Chicago Bulls. It is a second night of a back-to-back for Chicago after their oh my goodness, ultra disappointing loss yesterday to the Miami Heat. Not even a competitive basketball game. Chicago gets all their momentum back. They win on the West Coast. They beat Denver in a close game. Vucci Main hits the buzzer beater up in the Pacific Northwest against the Portland Trailblazers. We're thinking, okay, the Bulls are back. They've got all that steam behind them. They've got momentum. And then they do that. Oh, man. But hey, yesterday though, in terms of player props, we went 2-0. Andrew Nembhard had a season high, completely dominated the 15.5 point line that he had in Keontae George, doing Keontae George things over 24.5 PA. He had 28. So we are now looking at Coby White to come through tonight, and I think this will be almost automatic. Can't ever guarantee it, obviously, anything can happen, but I do think Coby White's going to quite easily go over 25.5 points and assists. It's a very good chance Coby White straight up just does this with points. Now, Coby White currently is still coming off the bench for Chicago. I don't know if they're going to change that, and I don't know, again, when that move will be officially made where White's going to be starting. I think it's going to be when they can officially rely on White to play all the time and even play back-to-backs, obviously. I know Chicago has had a couple back-to-backs recently, and they're going to have another one next week with Charlotte in Indiana. So it's been tough for Coby White to really get going. After next week, though, they don't have another back-to-back for an entire month. So I assume by the time they play their next back-to-back on the 26th and 27th of December, I think Coby White will probably be back in the swing of things and probably back in the starting lineup. Because Coby White obviously plays clutch minutes. In the overtime game, he played big minutes, played the clutch minutes against Portland as well. And the only two games Coby White's played this season against Utah and Portland, both very close games down to the wire, games were separated by 3 and 1 point. So White's still out there in big-time moments. And in the games Coby White's played this season against Utah, 27 points on 30 minutes, 25 points on 27 minutes against Portland. Again, my point, he might get this line purely off of points alone. You now throw in assists. Well, he had 27 and 8 in the Utah game, 25 and 7 against the Portland Trailblazers. So I just feel like this line's way too low. Another factor, too, guys, think about this. Coby White's the only guy who didn't play yesterday for Chicago. It's still a back-to-back for these guys, and I understand the starters like Josh Giddey and company did not have to play the fourth quarter because they're losing by so many points, and, the Bulls have kind of thrown in the white flag now in terms of the NBA Cup. Not like that mattered too much for them, but they're a 1-2 team now in their group, and obviously they play in the same group as Darvin Ham and Taurean Prince, so you're not winning the damn thing. But anyways, though, because that is their Super Bowl, regardless of all that, though, I think the Bulls will be all right in this spot today. They're playing the Wizards, and they're going to rely on Coby White quite a bit. Because regardless of the fact that, their guys didn't have to play late in the game, they got time off their feet, obviously, because Miami was winning so much. Well, there's a guy who didn't have to play at all, and that's Coby White. And it really, again, this is more than just, it's a lot of factors. Coby White didn't play yesterday, and White, when he's been on the court so far, has led the team in scoring in both games he's played. Did Vucevic led the team in scoring on Wednesday, but White scored 25, Vucevic scored 27, okay? And it has actually been affecting and impacting the Josh Giddey scoring, because Giddey kind of just defaults back to Coby White being the primary scorer, which not doing a great thing for our Josh Giddey All-Star campaign. I think he still might get there because he's averaging basically a 21-point triple-double, so it's going to be hard for them to not put Giddey in the All-Star game. But anyways, it's less work for Giddey because now Giddey just, defers to, okay, let me just kick it to Coby White instead of doing all the work myself. It does make Chicago a better team when Giddey doesn't have to, drop 50, or, he never dropped 50. When Giddey doesn't have to drop, was career high, 35 points a night, or 30-ish points a night in a triple-double. Because again, Giddey's going to stuff the stat sheet everywhere else, and Giddey's a phenomenal player. White being on the court helps them a lot, too. So White off the bench has been massive so far. He is the number one scorer when he's on the court now. Again, it's no longer Giddey, it is Coby White. And White, we said this last season, and I'll say it again now. Coby White last year figured out, and Josh Giddey too, they both figured out, and maybe this is just what Billy Donovan was doing in Chicago, I don't know. They both figured out, okay, we are actually taller than a lot of guys that are going to be guarding us. Because teams will put shorter guys on White and Giddey. Giddey's, 6'7"? Is Giddey 6'7", or is he 6'8"? Let me check this. Or is he 6'6"? He's 6'7". Giddey 6'7", Coby White 6'4". So again, Giddey usually draws shooting guards at times, and Coby White's going to draw point guards. Well, they're both, Giddey at 6'7"'s a lot taller than the average shooting guard in the NBA. Coby White at 6'4" is taller usually than most point guards in the league as well. So both these guys have just decided, okay, well, we can take mid-range shots now, and we're just straight up taller than the guys guarding us, and we're just going to shoot right over their heads. And it's worked for both of them. Coby White's found so much success in the last year and a half just having confidence now in his shot. And he's been phenomenal. I'm telling you again, the Bulls are going to be really good if White continues to play every single game and the way Giddey's been playing. And Vooch, I don't know, man. I don't think they can really win with Vooch. I know, he's the game winner. He's so bad defensively and can't grab rebounds to the point where, again, Giddey's their best rebounder at 6'7". So I don't know. And Buzelis is not the best pure rebounder, too. So it's really just all Giddey trying to grab boards. That's a problem. They need a legitimate center. Anyways, though, this team's going to be good. And Coby White tonight, this line's free, I think. Again, you can't obviously guarantee it, but 25 and a half PA, he scored 27 and 25 in back-to-back games. And then tack on the 8 and 7 assists he got in both those games as well. This should be fine. I'm going to go Coby White today over 25 and a half points in assists. Yes, they're playing Washington, which does make it easier for Coby White to score and get assists, but there is the potential of a blowout and him sitting the fourth quarter. Obviously, again, Chicago's not going to want to push Coby White in a meaningless game when they're already winning by 20-plus points. But I do think, again, Coby White's still going to get around 25 minutes. I think before, again, he has to sit at the end of the game because Chicago's blowing out the Wizards. There's a chance the game's not a blowout, but I think it will be. I still think White's going to get those points and assists before he has to sit. So, give me Coby White again on the over PA at 25 and a half at -110. On to our fourth best bet of the video as we move to our final money line of the day. And yes, I am taking the Dallas Mavericks. Maybe for the last time this season, but I do believe it's actually a really good spot for the Mavs. Both teams in Dallas and Memphis have 5 wins this season, and we did just pick Memphis to win the other day. We had them beating the Sacramento Kings, and they did exactly that. Memphis was very injured, no Jaren Jackson, no Ja Morant, and they still won, and like I kind of said, Santi Aldama is going to show up, and he absolutely did just that. Aldama scored 29 points. But that was a home game for Memphis. Sacramento's absolutely awful. Now you got to go on the road and take on the Mavs. I'm not telling you the Mavs are all that great, because they're not. They're finding a little bit more success, winning just last night with their NBA Cup game over the New Orleans Pelicans. But I think they can beat the Grizzlies tonight. I think so. And yes, I know the Mavs are on the second night of the back-to-back. I just don't like the Grizz on the road with no Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. And I was perfectly fine with them doing it in Tennessee against the Kings, because the Kings are absolutely awful. But now, again, no Ja. Jaren Jackson, the official status is unlikely. Again, he's not going to play. And obviously, Ty Jerome's still out as well. We'll see when Jerome finally gets to make that Grizzlies debut, because I think Jerome's going to help out this team a lot. Again, he was a huge player last season in the emergence of the Cleveland Cavaliers becoming a 1 seed and ultimately, obviously, losing to the Pacers. But, Ty Jerome was great last season. He's going to be really good, I think, for Memphis after signing that big contract. But right now, you could argue their 3 best players aren't playing. I understand Ty Jerome's going to come off the bench, and they've got him there pretty much to be the leader of the second unit, but he's going to be one of their better players, and obviously he's not playing. No Jackson, no Ja, and they were able to get it done against Sacramento. But again, though, that's Sacramento, and the Mavs aren't that much better than the Kings. They're not, but now you got to go on the road. And it's one thing, again, to get that done at home. It's one thing to go on the road and have that translate for you. The Grizz were starting Jalen Wells, Cedric Coward, Vince Williams, Santi Aldama, and Zach Edey. The Mavs aren't starting anything all that better, I'll tell you that. Cooper Flagg, though, is kind of finding it, There's a reason Cooper Flagg was so hyped, right? I mean, that hype was warranted. He was one of the best players in college basketball last season, but he was obviously one of the most highly, touted and highly, pumped up prospects in a very long time coming up from college, and now we're finally seeing it out of him. Is there much help around Cooper Flagg? Not entirely. I'll get to that in a second, but Cooper Flagg is officially, here. He's arrived. In that game against the Pelicans, his career high in scoring at 29 points, 12 of 19 shooting from the field, didn't hit a single three-pointer, but that's obviously going to come over time. I think Cooper Flagg's going to be all right, guys, and I think he's going to be a very good basketball player in this league for a very long time. Flagg with 29, 7, and 5, and that's why the NBA rigged the draft lottery for him. There were franchises like the Jazz, the Wizards. Those teams would have loved to have Cooper Flagg and make them the face of the franchise, put him on all the billboards, all the posters on the arena or at the arena, everywhere. And yet the NBA said, thanks for trading Luka to our biggest market. Again, I will never complain about that, but there's a reason they put him here. It's because they want Cooper Flagg to win. And that won't be this season, obviously. The Mavs are going to kind of jump into a small rebuild. I don't actually think it's going to be too long of a rebuild, considering you have Cooper Flagg and you play it's Dallas. Players are going to want to come to Dallas and play basketball. It's a winning culture for the most part, obviously. And I know that reputation's been damaged, obviously, since the Luka trade. But I think the Mavs are going to play slightly better right now. I think they're going to beat Memphis. I know it's second night of a back-to-back, but I was very impressed with what Cooper Flagg did. They are getting a little bit of help around Cooper Flagg right now, and that's in the form of Max Christie, who, again, the unsung hero in the Luka trade. Remember that 2-week period where Max Christie was going crazy for the Mavs right after the Luka trade, and Mavs fans were saying, oh, you know what? We might have scammed the Lakers. The optimistic Mavs fans, obviously. There were not many of them, but oh, wait, hold on. Max Christie's only 20. Well, this was more not the Mavs fans. This was NBA media talking heads, like on Inside the NBA or on ESPN. I think the Mavericks have won the Luka trade because they got Max Christie and AD. All the defense they're going to play. They're never going to lose. They're the Thunder's biggest threat. Guys, the media was still saying that earlier this year. Game 1, they were saying that. Whatever. I think Max Christie, again, scoring 23 points last night was huge on 32 minutes. They need him to be big. They need guys like, again, him to score. They need PJ Washington to put up 24 points like he did last night. And if the Mavs can continue to do that, okay, they're not going to win playoff games. They're not going to go to the playoffs. I know I'm hyping up a victory over the 2-14 New Orleans Pelicans. But hey, they won. I can't slide them for that. They played New Orleans earlier in the year in Dallas, and they lost the game. So the Mavs are trending in the right direction. I know it's the second night of a back-to-back, and they just beat the Pels. Well, look what's lining up for the Grizz tonight. I think Aldama can hoop, legitimately. I've watched enough Santi Aldama this season to say, okay, yes, Aldama is still improving at, what is he? He's 24. Why did I think? I don't know why I thought Aldama was 28. Regardless, Aldama, he's been in the league for a while. Okay, he came out early, I guess. He only played 1 year of college. Aldama's becoming a very good player. Again, is he going to be a superstar? Obviously, no. But Aldama's going to continue to be a very reliable role player in this league. Cedric Coward's been good as a rookie. There are good players, I understand, but games in Dallas, Cooper Flagg's playing well. Washington and Christie have been, obviously giving that team a boost with their, help roles in the starting lineup as well to, again, accompany Cooper Flagg. I'm going to go with the Mavs here at home. Full transparency. Probably the last bet I would make today. Okay? So, out of 5, yes, this is number 5. I will say that. But again, we do 5 bets every single day, so I will take Dallas at minus 135. But yes, full transparency, this is my least confident bet of the entire day. On to our final best bet of the video, we move to Dallas. Not Dallas, that was Dallas. Denver, Colorado for the Sacramento Kings and the Denver Nuggets. Second night of a back-to-back for Denver. At home now, they were on the road in Houston yesterday, so a lot of travel for Denver going into this one. And they're taking on the Kings. I don't know, maybe Sacramento can get them. I don't know. Look at the Kings. They're 3-13. And they've now lost 8 straight games in a row. Again, time is ticking. When will the Kings blow it up? When will the Kings decide, you know what? This isn't working. It's time to tear it all down. I don't know. I don't know when the Kings will finally decide to do that and say, you know what? I don't think the Levine, DeRozan, and Sabonis core is really going to be a winning one. Just a thought. I don't know. Maybe they'll keep trying though. Who knows? Anyways, the Sacramento Kings are 3-13, and we're going to be taking Russell Westbrook today on the over 21.5 points and rebounds. If I can guarantee you anything in Russell Westbrook basketball is that he tryhards against the teams that he has already played for. So if you want to keep track, obviously, Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, Clippers, Wizards. Now, he doesn't really hate the Wizards, doesn't really have any animosity to the Rockets, I would say. OKC, he tries to play hard against OKC, I'll leave him that. So basically every team but Houston and Washington, I'd say. Those are Russ's revenge games. This is another one. I mean, look what Russ did earlier this year against Denver. I mean, he had a near triple-double. Now, Russ goes 3 for 12 from the field, but still finds a way to score 14 points in that game. Regardless, 11 assists and 8 boards. I know, again, that's he barely gets by the line there, but that's still 22 PR for Russell Westbrook. 14 points and 8 assists. We'll take that. The other game he played against Denver, the first one this year, was the more notable one, obviously. That was the one in Denver. 26 points and 12 rebounds. Obviously, goes well over that line with math, 38 points and rebounds. But this is beyond just the Denver thing. Russ usually goes over this line for PR. Essentially, I need 15 points out of Russell Westbrook tonight. For a guy who averages 14, that should be all right. Again, it's a try-hard revenge game for Russ, so that's an added bonus. Oh, by the way, Denver is the team that plays fast, but a team that's going to be playing fast, and a team on tired legs, obviously, by having to play a very tightly contested game yesterday against the Houston Rockets. I was wrong yesterday. Maybe I'll stop betting against the Nuggets in general. I probably should, but how about Reed Shepherd, by the way, with 27 points? But regardless, right, Denver had to play a competitive game yesterday, a close game yesterday, where they got out of it when they, obviously they're in Group C hell in the NBA Cup between the Warriors, Rockets, Spurs, Nuggets, and then obviously, because that makes sense, Portland's in first place, I think. Yeah, because Portland beat Denver. That checks out, right? Portland still controls their own destiny to win Group C somehow. Denny Adjiva basketball. Anyways, though, second night of a back-to-back for Denver. There's tired legs involved, and Russ is going to run against this team, trust me. And I know, again, Westbrook coming off the bench, but still playing 30-ish minutes a night. I know the minutes vary at times, but only played 20 minutes in their last game against Memphis on the road. It was the second night of a back-to-back, and they lost the game by 40 points. So I would expect a lot of Westbrook tonight, 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, Russ usually goes over this, usually. I need 13 points out of Westbrook. 13 points out of Westbrook should be fine. He should get 9 rebounds. Russ is very around the rim, man. I mean, again, this is just the way Westbrook's always played, right? I mean, dating back to the days where he was chasing Oscar Robertson, right? When he was winning the MVP and all the triple doubles in OKC, right? Just how Westbrook plays. Westbrook's always around the basketball. It's a guy like, Josh Giddey's a Russell Westbrook type player, obviously. I didn't want to say, Westbrook's like how Giddey plays, because obviously Westbrook did it first. But Westbrook, again, a guy who's always active, got the ball in his hands at all times, crashing for boards, obviously a good rebounder for his size as well, and he's going to be working the ball down court, looking to, obviously set his teammates up, and he can still score some as well. Again, the percentage in which he shoots at is not always great. I understand Westbrook will have games where he just chucks up, 8 threes, hits 1, and then, shoots the ball 15 times in total, hits 3 shots, but still gets 10 points at the free throw line, right? I think we're going to be okay here. I do like Westbrook managing the second unit. It's a role, obviously, that Westbrook has been stuck in for quite a bit. Now, there are games. It depends on the night, though. Some nights he starts, some nights he doesn't, so we need to see. Because, I think they've been going. Last 2 games they started Russ, but they didn't the games before that. Did they start him against OKC? They did. We'll see. They're going back to Schroeder at the second unit. That's fine though, honestly. I mean, that's more rebound opportunities for Westbrook. Just more minutes in general for Westbrook as well. I think we're okay here. Again, despite the fact Westbrook has not played in the second unit in a couple of days. He was earlier this week, but the last 2 games they've been starting Russ and they benched Schroeder. That's fine. I'm going to go Westbrook still over 21.5 points and rebounds. Again, it's a revenge game. Denver's on a second night of a back-to-back. Sacramento's not. Russ is not. So give me Westbrook to go over 21.5 points. Denver probably still covers 11.5 because the Kings are poverty, but maybe they get some, ounce of hope with it being a second night of a back-to-back for Denver. And again, Russ playing with pride like he's already done twice this season against the Nuggets. Folks, thank you all for watching our NBA Best Bets here on November 22nd. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily NBA Best Bets. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.